Hey guys, PepperAmmy here. This week we are making cheese and Marmite pasties. Now if you're not a big fan of Marmite like a lot of people, you can easily leave it out and you'll be left with cheese and onion pasties instead. Now to start we will of course need some pastry for our pasties. Now you can of course get 500 grams of pre-made shortcrust pastry, but I'm on holiday so I'll be making it from scratch. Now to do this, you will need to combine 350 grams of plain flour with 170 grams of softened butter, or you can also use baking spread. Then you want to combine that in a bowl with a pinch of salt and mix together with a fork, then get stuck in with your hands and rub together until you form breadcrumbs. Then to bind this all together you want to add 2 whole eggs. Now I'm using golden yolk so my dough does look very yellow on the camera. And then mix it all together to form a nice dough and then knead it to bring it all together nice and uniformly. And then let this rest wrapped up in the fridge for at least 30 minutes or overnight. But bear in mind, if you do let this go overnight it will require a slight warming up time, as it will become very hard and very hard to roll out. Now meanwhile we can make the filling. You want to warm half a tablespoon of oil and half a tablespoon of butter in a large frying pan on low heat. Then dice 1 white onion and 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. Then add the onion and garlic to the pan once the butter has melted. Then cook for around 5 minutes until the onion has softened. Now whilst your onion and garlic cook, you'll want to slice or dice 350 grams of potatoes. Now personally I'm using small baking potatoes, and I have scrubbed these and left the skin on, as the skin is very thin on these, but you could optionally peel them off. Then you want to add to the pan with the onion and garlic and cook for around 15 minutes until the potatoes have softened slightly and gained a little bit of colour. Now while that cooks, you want to make a mixture using 2 tablespoons of warm water and between 2 teaspoons and 2 tablespoons of Marmite. Now I'm going on the heavier side of this, as the people that I'm making this for really like Marmite. Then add in a little pinch of salt. Now of course if you are not a fan of Marmite you do not need to do anything to do with this step, so you can leave it out. But if you are making it, pour it over the potatoes and then let this cook for a further 5 minutes. Now this is so the Marmite can coat and absorb into the vegetables, and then you want to remove from the heat and let cool. Now once your filling has cooled down you want to mix in 150 grams of a good cheese. Now personally I'm using an extra mature cheddar to give it a nice little bite to it, and then give it a good mix. This will help clean up any leftover Marmite as well, as it will start being coated onto the cheese as well. Then you want to preheat your oven to 200°C or 400 Fahrenheit. Then you want to roll out your pastry on a mat or a work surface, dusted lightly with flour. Then you want to roll it out to around about 2 millimeters thick. Then using an upside down bowl or plate, then using a knife, cut around the outside to make some nice pastry rounds. Now you will need to roll out the rest of your pastry, as you're not going to get all of them out of one first roll. But you want to be careful doing this on a hot day, as I found out, and you will see later. Then you want to spoon some of the filling into one side of the pasty, and then using a beaten egg, brush the edge of the pastry and fold it over. Then using a fork or crimping by hand, seal the edge of the pastry, and then make 2 small holes on top to vent the steam out, and then place on a baking tray and brush with some extra egg. Now as I was saying, if it's warm, re-rolling the pastry can be hard, as the butter may start to separate out, and this can give you a very brittle pastry. Now you can always try re-chilling this, as see if that helps, but sadly mine was a little bit too far gone, as Pasty 3 turned out, well I wouldn't buy it from a pasty shop, let's put it that way, and Pasty 4, we don't talk about Pasty 4. But anyway, if this does happen or you have any leftover filling, you can return it to the heat and optionally pour over the leftover egg mix, and then heat until fully cooked and enjoy as a nice baker's lunch whilst your pasties cook. Now, talking of cooking pasties, you want to place them in the oven for 20 minutes or until the pastry is golden and firm. And then remove from the oven and let cool. Now, as you can see by the bubbling Marmite coming straight out the top of my pasty, these are way too hot to eat right now, so you want to let them cool off a little bit. Now, personally, I am actually quite impressed that pasty number 3 turned out as well as it did. It's still the special kid, but it actually held together. I did expect it to explode or gain sentience and torch the house in vengeance for pasty 4, but the flat's still here and pasty 3 actually was quite delicious. But once cooled, simply eat and enjoy. And there we have it, Marmite and cheese pasties. Now, as always, if you like what you saw, let me know down below with a like and a comment. If you're indeed new here, feel free to subscribe for free weekly cooking content, and I will see you all again next week. Thanks for watching.